Your pancreas, the organ behind your stomach that manages your blood sugar, is physically forced to clock out for the night hours before your head ever hits the pillow. Most fitness coaches will tell you that late-night eating causes weight gain simply because you're lying on the couch instead of burning calories. But that answer is completely incomplete. Your body stores late meals not because you are inactive, but because a chemical collision between your food and your sleep hormones has padlocked your digestive system. The hidden culprit is a biological collision between your food and melatonin, the natural hormone your brain releases to signal that it is time for sleep. Landmark clinical research from Brigham and Women's Hospital and Massachusetts General Hospital reveals a mechanical pathway that completely alters how we view meal timing. To understand how this happens, we have to look closely at a silent transition that occurs inside your body every single evening. When the sun goes down, your brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which controls your daily sleep-wake cycle, triggers a flood of melatonin into your bloodstream to help your muscles relax and prep your brain for rest. But melatonin doesn't just stay in your brain. It travels through your entire vascular system, your network of blood vessels, eventually binding to tiny docking stations on the surface of your pancreas. Your pancreas is the organ responsible for manufacturing insulin, the hormone that acts like a key to let sugar into your cells. Under normal daytime conditions, a rise in blood sugar triggers your pancreas to flood your system with insulin. But when melatonin binds to the pancreas at night, it sends a direct, inhibitory signal that physically puts your insulin-producing cells into a deep sleep. Think of your pancreas like a local manufacturing factory. During the daytime shift, the factory is fully operational, the workers are alert, and they instantly process any raw materials that come through the door. But once melatonin arrives, it acts like the nighttime security guard who padlocks the front gates, turns off the assembly lines, and sends the workers home. If you dump a massive truckload of raw sugar into that factory after hours, there is no staff left to process it. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world through a patient case file from a metabolic health clinic, a medical center focused on how your body processes energy. We'll call her Sarah. Sarah was a 42-year-old corporate consultant who did everything right by standard health definitions. She ate a clean, whole foods diet, measured her macros, the proteins, fats, and carbs that make up our food, and hit a high-intensity interval training workout 4 days a week. Yet, despite her discipline, she was gaining stubborn weight around her midline, felt completely exhausted every morning, and her routine fasting blood work showed her creeping steadily into the prediabetes range. Her doctor was baffled and assumed Sarah was secretly cheating on her diet. Frustrated, Sarah wore a continuous glucose monitor, a wearable sensor that tracks your blood sugar in real time, to track her blood sugar for 2 weeks. What she saw looked completely upside down. During the day, she could eat a sweet potato or a bowl of rice, and her blood sugar would barely ripple. Her daytime pancreatic factory was wide open and processing sugar instantly. But at 9:15 p.m., right before bed, Sarah would eat her final meal, a completely clean sweet potato bowl with a drizzle of honey and some sliced bananas. Within 30 minutes of eating that clean meal, her blood sugar didn't just rise. It spiked into the stratosphere, peaking at levels typically seen in people with type 2 diabetes, a condition where the body loses its ability to manage blood sugar. It would then stay elevated for hours while she slept, keeping her body trapped in a state of high inflammation all night long. Sarah wasn't failing her diet. Her food wasn't toxic. Her timing was simply colliding directly with her internal biological clock. She was forcing her body to process food at the exact moment her circulating melatonin levels, the amount of sleep hormone traveling through her blood were 3.5 times higher than their daytime baseline. Now you might be thinking, does this happen to everyone at the exact same level? The answer is no, and the reason lies in a genetic lottery. A massive crossover trial published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism discovered that for about 1/3 of the population, this nighttime shutdown is far more severe. The researchers tracked how individuals handled identical meals eaten early in the afternoon versus meals eaten just 1 hour before bed. They discovered that a specific, highly common genetic variation completely dictates your metabolic damage. This variant is known as the TNR1B risk allele, a single-letter tweak in your DNA that forces your pancreas to grow up to 3 times more melatonin docking stations than normal. If you carry this common genetic trait, your insulin-producing cells are incredibly sensitive to melatonin. The moment darkness hits, your pancreas goes into total lockdown. While other people can clear sugar relatively quickly at night, your system essentially padlocks the gate early. When participants with this genetic trait ate a late dinner, their blood melatonin levels were highly elevated, and their pancreas simply could not secrete enough insulin to handle the food. This caused a massive, sustained spike in glucose, the raw sugar floating in your blood. The late meal caused their post-meal sugar clearance to plummet by over 40%, mimicking the exact metabolic profile of someone with type 2 diabetes. Meanwhile, individuals in the study who did not carry this specific genetic variant were able to clear the sugar significantly faster. Do you struggle with intense, uncontrollable sugar cravings late at night? Drop a yes or no in the comments. I read every one. If that question just made you realize why your late-night snacking habits feel completely biological rather than a lack of willpower, you are not alone. When you eat a late dinner or a midnight snack while melatonin is actively suppressing your insulin, your blood sugar stays dangerously elevated for hours. Your body cannot get that glucose out of your bloodstream and into your muscles to be used as active fuel. Because your cells are effectively starving for energy while swimming in a sea of trapped blood sugar, your brain sounds an emergency alarm. Think of it like being locked outside of a grocery store. You can see all the food through the window, but you're still starving. This emergency signal triggers intense, late-night carbohydrate cravings. Your brain thinks it's starving because the door to the cell is locked. You eat more carbs to satisfy that biological craving, your blood sugar spikes even higher, your suppressed pancreas completely fails to clear it, and your body is forced to store the excess floating energy directly into your visceral fat tissue, the highly active, dangerous fat wrapped around your internal organs. This is how a clean meal eaten at the wrong time becomes a direct contributor to abdominal fat storage. To break this cycle, you don't need to change what you eat. You simply need to clear your digestive tract before the melatonin security guard locks the factory doors. Here is your step-by-step evening protocol. Rule 1. Establish a 3 to 4 hour hard stop. Ensure your last bite of food occurs at least 3 to 4 hours before your target bedtime. This gives your pancreatic factory a clean, daytime window to manufacture insulin and clear glucose from your bloodstream before melatonin levels begin their natural evening surge. Rule 2. Dim the house lights. Turn off bright overhead kitchen and living room lights 2 hours before bed. Bright indoor lighting delays your melatonin release, pushing your metabolic disruption and your morning blood sugar spikes even later into the next day. Rule 3. Beware the supplement trap. If you routinely take over-the-counter melatonin supplements right before bed, you are introducing superphysiological levels, which are doses far higher than what your body can ever produce naturally, directly into your system right when you might be finishing a late snack. Clinical testing shows that high-dose melatonin use can severely impair your glucose tolerance, which is your body's ability to safely clear sugar from your blood for hours after taking it. If you use a sleep aid, ensure your kitchen is completely closed. Your body processes food based on the clock, not your willpower. Every week, this is exactly the kind of depth we go into. The real mechanism, not the headline version. Subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. That's the only thing this channel does.